Hello, I just want to show you a app that I made and hopefully answer most questions in the process. I made an app that basically connects to Grok AI chat and automatically answers for you. Automatically runs the commands that the AI is suggesting for you to run and gives the reasons. It can transfer files, script files, to and from your computer. It's an AI agent that is basically a one-stop shop. It does everything on your PC. You don't have to have any other extra plugins or connections to other cloud services or anything else. It's all run right on your computer. And I know most people are a little cautious about letting AI have control of your computer and running commands on it and all that. And that's good reason to actually be concerned about that. And that's why I also keep a running log of everything that it does on your computer. So this history text file, to give you an example, it shows the files that were attached, the message that we sent, the files that we sent after that, the commands that it ran, and it also gives the reason for each command. So when the AI says, I want to run this command on your computer, then it's for that reason. It will also say if it's a success or if it fails, and it automatically sends this log per cycle or round. Just that amount of information it sends back to the AI. So the AI knows whether the commands were successful or not. The number one problem that I've noticed whenever AI gives you instructions on how to do something with your computer or programming or scripts, it's usually about 95% accurate all the time. And it sounds great at first, but if it just stays at 95%, and keeps trying things and it's always just 95%, it's never 100%. It never would officially figure it out. Well, I ain't gonna say never. It eventually will figure it out through a lot of trial and error. And that's the main reason for having the logs as well. So it can review the logs and see what it's already tried, because it does have a short-term memory. And that's an obstacle that a lot of the AIs are trying to overcome, but this is the best way to overcome it because it keeps a running log of everything that it does. This running log is good for you, so that way you can tell what it's doing on your computer, make sure it's not doing anything mischievous. I've put thousands of hours into this, never once witnessed it doing anything malicious. It's obviously made a lot of mistakes. It doesn't always get commands 100% right. Most 95% of the time or 99% of the time it does, but it's always that 5% or 1% that it keeps it from being successful. So anyways, I have it automatically working on a program right now where it is creating a plugin for MB Server. It's a media server software. And to create a plugin with them, you have to have like Visual Studio installed. It has to run commands in that. It has to download certain links off the web, extract them, unzip them, I mean, it basically does anything. It's what you would kind of hope that AI kind of would do, other than the fact that, we ultimately worry about them having total control over our computer. So if you still worry overall about what it can do on your computer, then you should probably just create like a VM and then let it run inside the VM. That way it'll install the software, it'll install whatever it needs. It'll figure it out eventually. And the main thing behind this is you would normally be copying and pasting whatever commands it's asking you to do anyways. And then you would go and you'd run those commands, and then it would give you an error on certain commands, and you would copy that, and then you would paste it back into the chat, and then you would explain, that command didn't work. Here's what it gave me. So then it would reformulate a new list of commands and go from there. I basically automated that part. I have a couple other features that I want to add to it once this is accomplished. But basically it's going to send a screenshot, and then it's going to calibrate based off of your screen, and then it'll be able to do mouse clicks. Now it's not going to be real time, but it's going to be enough that's going to improve its ability to troubleshoot. Say for instance, like if it needs to open up an installation, some kind of software, and it needs to click through the menus to show the error logs, and it can't get those error logs through running commands on a command prompt. So it would have to eventually map a series of clicks on your screen after it knows each screenshot, and then it'll click and get to the point, and it'll know that this series of clicks will open it up to where it shows the errors, and then it will send that screenshot back, and then the AI will know what the errors is, and then it can reformulate and send commands and so forth, or it could just send mouse clicks. That's not a feature at the moment. Right now it works perfectly fine the way it is, just by sending commands to it, running the commands, giving the reasons, creating scripts, downloading them, basically updating a script that you're going to try to compile and make into some kind of software. And it can also upload them, so that way it knows if the script was correct, like there's no indentation issues or what have you. So right now it's currently, I have it in kind of a demo mode where it's showing you, because what it does is it works with a headless Chrome browser. So it's the same way that you would normally go and work with your chat. You would do it through like Chrome or Internet Explorer, something to that effect. And a headless version means basically this browser is not visible at all. So it'll be doing this all behind the scenes. So for right now, for instruction purposes, I'm just kind of showing you what it's doing in the process while it's working. So it's done did all of this on autopilot. It's only ran 11 cycles in a row. It's been about 20 minutes of total time that it's been working on this problem. I have some other stats that just kind of roughly shows you on average it's about a minute 50 per round. So what I mean by rounds is from the time it sends, waits for the response, receives the response, processes the response, then runs commands, and then it starts all over again. It sends those results. So that's why I kind of labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4. That way you can generally, every once in a while, if you're just checking in on it, you'll be like, all right, it's still moving. I've gotten, I've had this working for many months, and but then I'm always finding like some kind of little bug, something that changes in Grok's chat that basically makes it to where it's difficult to, it'll do something that interrupts the process and it won't allow it to continue. Like they changed something on their website, or they changed the way they do things. So that's kind of like a part where I have to kind of keep up on, and it is a little time consuming at times, but it should run indefinitely until it figures out the problem. So ultimately what all this is doing is just saving you time. So you can like give it a problem before you go to bed, and then wake up the next morning and see what kind of progress it's made. It does, like if you would factor in how long it would take you to just follow the chat's commands by reading, this multi-page tutorial that it'll give you as a response. And then you have to comprehend all of that. You have to find the copy and paste section of the commands, and you got to run the commands. After you run them, then you got to copy and paste and understand that there was errors, and then you got to turn around and send it back to it. That'll probably take you a lot more than 15 seconds. Probably take you more than a few minutes. And this can happen within like 15 seconds from start to finish. But it, depending on the complexity of it, it could take a little bit longer. But in general, it's roughly a couple minutes. Like right now, you could actually see that this is kind of a complex problem. That's why I'm doing this as a tutorial. And it's taken a little while for it to come up with a new plan. So that's part of the entire cycle. Sometimes it can be as low as, 5 seconds or something like that. Well, then the rest of the process goes pretty quickly. But it saves you a lot of time. And then on top of that, if you were to do this through API, I did like a little estimating online with the calculator, the API calculator, to see how much it would have cost me API wise for all the usage that I did. And when I first started on this, the first 4 months, I was literally about 16 hours a day because I kind of just got addicted to it, and I was impressed with how AI worked and everything else. But I wanted to kind of generally know, like, how much would that have cost through API? And approximately it came out to about like 30 grand for 1 month. And I know that's an extreme approximation, but it's not very far off. So I paid $30 a month for the actual chat from Grok. But if I did it through API, it would have cost me about 30 grand. So that's 1,000th of the cost, approximately. And it's saving you a multitude of amount of time that you don't have to be in front of the computer, that you could be doing other things, and you can just let it work. And it's kind of like what you would hope for. You want AI to just work on it till it figures it out. So you don't have to. So you don't have to scour the web and look for commands, look for somebody else's examples or tutorials and piece together things and be creative and try to come up with a new solution. You just leave it up to it. So as you can kind of see, it's been running on autopilot while we've been doing this. It's currently down here in it's planning. And as you can see up here, my app is waiting for that response. So these over here are tabs for you to peek in on and see what is it actually doing in real time. So it'll show you the files that are downloaded from the AI whenever it creates scripts. And then it's going to show you the files that the AI is requesting for its diagnostic purposes. It will show you the list of commands that it's running. And if you want the layman's terms of what those commands are, each one of them, it's telling you what it's doing. This is very, very helpful. A lot of times I'll just leave it on this tab right here. And then if you want to look at the stats, you can see how long it's been running on autopilot. So far it's been running 26 minutes. Usually I've had it running, 3 or 4 hours before some reason or another the chat will go stale. Like either Grok will give an error saying unable to reply, which I'm assuming it's basically saying, hey, you're using too much. I don't know, but it's more polite about it. And there's multiple reasons why I chose Grok. Grok is the only platform at this time that it works with. Initially, like Grok, I've tried them all. ChatGPT, Claude, the main ones, Gemini, and then there's some other agent-related programs out there like Cursor that kind of partially does what I do with this app, and it seems a little bit faster in its response time, but their autopilot is not nearly as useful unless it's changed in the last couple months. And it's only usually good for certain softwares that you're programming in, unless they've changed that. This is about as simple as it's going to get with AI. Getting AI to do software or computer troubleshooting related topics. Another thing is this is completely portable. So no messy installation. It's all within one folder. It's contained. So the only prerequisites that you need is you need a Chrome browser on your computer and a Grok.com subscription. And it also will play the voice. I'll just turn autopilot off. Now, if I turn autopilot off, it's still going to have to finish its cycle. So right now it's waiting on a response. So after it gets this, but basically it's a natural voice built into Microsoft computers, preferably Windows 11. And it's not but if you don't install it, you can just click on install voice and it'll automatically be installed, and then you can just click test and it'll show you that it's working. But here in a moment it'll play once it's done with its thinking on what's going wrong. In the meantime, I'll give you an example of some of the things that it's sending back to it. So it's trying to create this script, and that's what it created. And then that. And now this is the log that I generate and automatically send back each time. So it's showing, and then you can see that it's failing down here. Okay. Now I have some suggestions to to the AI team, obviously on a lot of things that would make their product at least 100 times more effective. But they're getting there. All right, let's see. Okay, the voice did not play.
Hello, this is a test of a natural voice. If you can hear this clearly, the speech system is working correctly.
Okay, well, maybe, and that'll be a little bug I'll have to look into. If you let it finish on its own, it does work. By unchecking the autopilot and letting it finish that cycle, it should have played it. And generally what it would have done is just play the last response, and it would have read that. So if you're like doing something somewhere in the room, you can go spend time with your kids, mow the grass, what have you. I don't know. Spend time with your kids, and then get yourself some coffee. And then all of a sudden you hear your computer talking, and you hear her talking. Well, that usually lets you know that it's come to a conclusion that it has solved the problem that you gave it. And then you go back over to your computer and you check it out. So let's see. I think that's a majority of the reasons. So you can also, once things have stopped, if you want to create a new chat, you can create a new chat by clicking on that. It does take a little bit longer to create a new chat than it would if you're in the actual browser. And you went over here and you said click on new chat. So it does take about 20-30 seconds to create that new chat. So whenever you get the activation key, you just type it in there, click on activate. It will save that key, and then it'll restart the app and allow you to actually use it. If you want to switch the chat to a different chat ID, you would just copy the chat ID at the top up here, and then you'd click on switch chat, and it would switch over to that chat. Let's see, make sure I covered most things. So yeah, the history file is really important. You usually won't have this debug text in there. I'm just having that in there for now, just so I can see what it's doing internally through every step. So you'll usually just have a history file in here. And since I let it finish, it did all the steps in that cycle. I can close out of it, which, let's see. Yeah, I can close out of it and then open it back up. And then it'll come right back to the same area. All right, we're going to go ahead and open it back up. And it should pick back up where it left off. Okay. And this is okay, all sent text. Yep. And the reasons. Actually, let's send back files. I found a little bug there for some reason. Syntax error, and it should not show that in the file name. So I have to fix that. All right. So we'll just do one quick round. the same chat. Without running on autopilot. So you might only want to run it a few times on autopilot. You might not even want to use autopilot. You might want to just watch it every single round, but you just don't want to have to cipher through the response and do a lot of the copying and pasting. You might just want to monitor what it's actually doing. Monitor if it's making any progress. See if it's given the exact same reasons over and over. And then maybe this third step changes, but the other two are the same. Let's go over here and take a look. Let's see, what is it doing here? So it's in the process of thinking its way through it. Eventually it'll be able to think its way all the way through it. And then there won't be any computer jobs at all. No programming jobs. But at least this app can hopefully give some of the programmers out there a leg forward, I guess. I don't know what you would say. A little bit of an advantage. Have something working on its own to develop scripts and programs. And then you can just step in like a supervisor and check and see what's going on. Where is it hanging up? Where is it having problems? And then give it a little bit of a tip here and there to get past something that's stuck on. So, all right. So that's that, and then it should be running it. Yep, it's already running the commands.
Plugin code fully fixed and cleaned. Ready for compilation in next step.
Okay, and since I just had that checked, but didn't have the autopilot check. But if you do have autopilot checking and let it finish on its own, it'll give the speech as well. And it didn't have a quotation mark on that one for some reason. All right. If you have any questions, put them below. Once again, try to be nice. This is my first YouTube video, and I didn't script it or anything else. I just kind of winged it. And just trying to get the app out there, get some responses to see, how is it going to be useful? Is there anybody out there that would find it useful? I would seem to think that it would be. It's 1,000 times cheaper than API, and saves you exponentially amount of time if you're already using AI chat to help design software. So give it a shot, test it out. Right now I have the 14-day trial period. All you got to do is just enter your email and click generate trial license. It'll automatically send you one. And I still haven't figured out what to charge yet. I still got to get the business side of things updated. But I'm also kind of just filling it out to see if there's any kind of market for it. Whether people want to pay $500 a month because they're computer programmers and it would save them a ton of time and it would make their 6-figure job a whole lot easier. Or if it's just a bunch of tech dads and moms out there that just like tinkering with scripts and don't want to spend all the time trying to figure out how to fully design the script. You can just kind of set it on autopilot, let it run until it figures it out, and then come back. That's all. Thanks for watching.